Hello?
Hello, Sydney.
How do we find the killer, Randy? That's what I want to know.
Well, let's look at the suspects.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
It's him.
All right, okay. House 2, the second story.
Welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Sequel. This is the movie podcast where we're talking sequels, and we do it in two parts. The first, an interview with an actor or someone involved that made the film worth watching. And the second, a discussion of the sequel, what they got right, what they got wrong, and how it could have been better. I think that's usually what I say. My brain just shut down for a second. So I hope you enjoyed last week's interview, which was a great way to kick off 2024 with Patrick Lussier. The man, he did what we love, and we've had the opportunity to talk to so many people that went through that Vancouver boom of the mid to late 80s. He started editing on 21 Jump Street, then went to MacGyver, and then after that, he links up with Wes Craven, and he does all the Wes movies from New Nightmare on. And so for him, man, we had to cover my personal, one of my favorite sequels of all time and my favorite of the franchise, Scream 2. But before we talk about the movie that I think encompasses why we started this podcast without us knowing, because of Jamie Kennedy's amazing rant about sequels in this movie, it's kind of like the fourth wall, like they were talking to us. I got to introduce you to my partner in the sequel watching journey, Jamie Riccardi. Jamie, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Doug. How are you doing?
Oh, dude, what a great way to start the year with one of my favorite movies. Because I think what was cool about the Scream franchise versus other slashers, like if you watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I might be wrong, but it doesn't have that like cultural significance as this one because of the movie, the music in this one, some of the technology at the time, like caller ID. And there was just like these cool things within this movie, like things that kids won't understand. Like my daughter will never understand. I don't know if your kids really remember like a cordless phone, like the cordless phone scene. I'm telling you, if you watch it with somebody that didn't know what that was, it's kind of like silly for them to be like, wait, you're telling me you like couldn't walk outside your house with your phone, you know?
Oh, the whole caller ID thing. I mean, yes.
Yeah, I know.
Now names pop up, but we had to have a separate thing for caller ID and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to get right to it. You know, I enjoyed the movie, right? The movie's good, you know, and I've seen it many times. It's not as good as I remember, and I think it's, again, there's some great scenes in this movie, but there's a lot of stuff that is just extremely dumb. And I think what part of what you were saying too, what makes this movie different than how, you know, like I Know What You Did Last Summers, there's definitely a lot of, it's like a comedy horror, right? There's, you know,
dude.
Just even the music alone, you know, is comedy, but they're like, I think there's some of the characters are very over actors, you know, and you know, when we find out the killers, like, I just think they just overdo that. I don't know. There's parts of this movie that I was disappointed in. But overall, it was enjoyable and I enjoyed it. But we're gonna dive into some of the stuff that I have issues with.
Yeah, no. There's definitely a few that I have issues with, but it's so funny. Okay. Like this is the first movie that I remember, like in my mind, that like if you you know, people that watched the interview with Patrick Lussier or saw the clip that we shared on social media, if you haven't, at Sequels Only, and then subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you're listening, of course, right now, and then go back after you listen to this to hear Patrick. He talks about how like what makes this unique is that the killers reveal themselves. You know, it's not like a Scooby-Doo, oh, we know who it is, let's pull the mask off. It's never that. It's never even like they're guessing along the way. The camera work makes us guess. And I think that's what's fascinating about these movies, because they always hold for like a second longer, or, you know, they're making like Jerry O'Connell, like he does like this weird thing when he's done talking. It's done not as like him being like, oh, he's giving it away. I'm sure that, you know, Wes is probably like, hey, give a little snide look at the end to make the audience think, ooh, maybe this guy's sinister. Maybe he's evil. Which,
yes. Listen, and the fact that you have like a Jamie Kennedy and that are actually writing names or talking about the characters in the movie that could be the killer. So like, you know, like even if you haven't thought of someone, they're basically putting in your head that it could also be this person as well. You know, and so, which is then very unique. Like the movie leaves it up to you to try to figure out who did it. They also plant names in your head that might also be involved, and then before you have a chance to even try to figure it out, they do it. They reveal themselves, and it's just like it's a different way to do it, you know. Oh, or I should say, really, it's like one, they reveal themselves. The second one is revealed, but the second one's always that surprise. Right? Like the first one, you're kind of teetering. You're like, all right, this guy could totally be it, or this woman could totally be the killer. But the second, person is always that one like, oh, I wasn't sure, I don't know.
No, I know. And this is the first movie I remember, because I remember seeing the first one like on bootleg. Billy Wilson got a bootleg of the director's cut. And I remember watching that pretty early on. So I'm like, all right, cool. Nobody told me. This movie was hard because I wasn't able to see it in the movie theater. I wasn't old enough. I was old enough for the third one. They let us in even though we weren't of age yet. But this one that we weren't allowed to go in, and we tried to sneak, but it didn't work. So this was hard to wait 3 months and avoid people talking about like older kids in the neighborhood and stuff. But I avoided it because I remember watching it with my buddy Mike and my buddy Tom. And I remember just like, we were so blown away by the reveal at the end. And I hope most people who are listening have seen the movie. So when we do start to reveal it, if you haven't, man, make sure you watch it. It's such a great, yeah.
It's funny you say that. Like kids are are jerks. Like, they love ruining movies. I remember Empire Strikes Back was ruined for me when I was younger. I mean, I was like super young, and I heard that, his father and, so things like that. It's like even I forget what else was ruined. Just kids just love to do it. They just love, like, they'll see it, but then they'll get mad if you do it to them.
Yeah.
So but yeah, no, this is one of those movies that, you don't, but on the same time, it's also that movie where when you watch it again, like the people that are the killers are extremely obvious. Right.
Yeah. It's fun to go back and watch. It's like watching the movie The Game, and you go back and you're like, oh, that's a little off. Obviously the talking through the TV in The Game.
Sixth Sense. Yeah. I mean, the same thing. Like you see. So here again, like, listen, everybody's quirky in the Scream movies. Like, everybody has that like personality and it's just over the top. But when you find out the killers and you watch it again, though, like they really are like very obvious. Like it just, the way they act and the way they look, and like, it's funny. Like I was watching one of them, and like, there's a scene where like, he looks like so surprised of what was going on. It's like ridiculous. Like, yeah, I mean, it is funny just to go back and see, how they act in the movie. So,
yeah. And like the connection, like what I'm thinking, like, I Know You Did Last Summer and this movie, Sarah Michelle Gellar dies in both. And then even like Urban Legends, like thinking now, it must have this came out in 97 because the first one did so great in 96. They pumped this out quick because this came out December 15th, 97. So we're like right past the 25-year anniversary, which is wild. And like in this movie, like Rebecca Gayheart, who ends up being, spoiler, the killer in Urban Legend, and then Portia de Rossi before she was in nothing, and then in 4 years, which is crazy to really think about. That's when like Arrested Development hit. So that was so weird to see these two characters that they focused on. That's why I bet you back in the day when I first saw this, I probably thought one of them, because they were so obsessed with Neve Campbell, Sydney, like wanting her to pledge. So
yeah, but you know what though? I mean, again, you look at this movie. What's his name? Josh. He was one of the students in the class.
Oh, he was already on 7th. He was already on Dawson's Creek. Yeah, Josh.
But there's
Joshua
a lot.
Jackson.
Yes, there was a lot of actors in this movie, like small little parts, but tons of actors in this movie. And I was surprised to see so many familiar faces. So
a while ago we almost interviewed Craig Shoemaker, who's we just can never link up with him during COVID, but he plays the professor in the scene. So yeah, there's so many he's like a big time stand-up comedian touring for like the last 30 years, and he's a teacher in this scene. So so let's get into it. And I love that we open up with one of my favorite actors and one of the most annoying people in the world. But
okay. Yeah. Go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm going to before you say anything, I'm going to add her to my list of the worst characters. Oh. I mean, first of all, racist and just awful, like an awful person in this movie. Like awful. But yeah, go ahead.
Like,
Go
why
ahead.
is
I didn't mean to cut
Omar
you off.
Epps with her in this scene?
Yeah.
But I love that we get up like Dimension Films. You see that, and it's like, oh, this is something good. I mean, they have the famous Rialto's Theater from out in California, and I love that the fact that he took her on a date with the free movie tickets. So this is like a screening, like a special screening, probably like a Wednesday night screening, something like that. But the thing that blows my mind is this movie never came out yet. Okay. And everyone is seeing this movie for the first time and you want to enjoy it. And they're wearing masks. You cannot enjoy a movie. You can barely see out of masks.
Okay. Okay. So, you said that they pumped this movie out because the other one did so well. And I think a lot of parts in this movie feels thrown together. Like this whole scene is just so over the top for so many reasons. I mean, again, right. You cannot enjoy a movie with your first of all, they're all excited about a real life mass murder, right?
Yeah.
They're dressed up as the murderer with the weapons. Like this is like, these are kids that they're all kids there. And again, this is about a murder like that just recently happened, right? What is it? A year later? Like in the movie purposes. Okay.
In the movie, I'm sure it's since a freshman or sophomore college. So
right.
A year or two at the most.
That's what I'm saying. So like this seems very like they're all excited to watch people that maybe they might have known. They could have known these people, So that's one. Then you have the fact that, complete chaos inside the theater. Like who would want to watch? I don't care for the free ticket. I don't want to sit there. Like it looks, there's no security anywhere at all. Of what's going on? No security. And, like the movie itself, which I guess is written by Gail. Was it like her? Is it her movie?
Well, it was based on her book. So
okay. Okay. But the stuff that happens in the movie, she wouldn't know about because it happened with Sydney. Or the beginning of like the movie.
Oh yeah. So that's like Neve, Drew Barrymore's character,
right? But like they got it like almost exactly how it was in the first movie when the only person that knows what happened in that scene was Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
So how did they knew exactly like literally the shower, the phone call, the getting out, like the I think Drew Barrymore was making a sandwich.
Did she shower? She was making popcorn in the original.
Oh, she was. Okay.
Movie. So I don't know if she showered, but like you said, the people that are in this movie, Heather Graham, already sort of, maybe she was already in stuff. Obviously she was in License to Drive in the 89 or whatever. And she was in other things before this, but like right after this, she blows up because that's when Spy Who Shagged Me came out, right?
Yep.
The second one. And then like Luke Wilson. This is before he was in Bottle Rocket probably came out the same year.
Right.
And then who else? Oh, and then what's her name was pretty famous, obviously. Tori Spelling. But of the characters we see within the movie it's pretty ridiculous. But no, what I was saying is like nobody's seen this movie. So why are they doing like a Rocky Horror-ish viewing of it where people are yelling and screaming at the TV? It was almost like they knew the lines that were coming, which they shouldn't. So that's what made it kind of like, I don't know why they had it. I guess because they wanted to, because this is kind of going to the end of the movie. So this is one of the killers setting up what his or her alibi would be. Like his plead would be because of what happened right here. That's what the whole intro scene is for.
I know, but at the same time, like, okay, so did the killer pick out Omar and Jada? Like, were they purposely?
It was people that knew Sydney that had the names that reflected to the first movie.
What were the odds of that? Like all those names that were connected.
Not even the odds. They were kind of cheating because it wasn't just first names. They used like the last name on the one.
I mean, just
and the last name didn't even match. What was it? It was like Taylor, and then in this one, Taylor's. So it was like not even like a perfect match. No, but it was like you had to figure out some way. So that again, that part of it, it's all going to his plan. No, like that's his thing.
Okay, but okay. So in this movie, the killer is, they're not real killers, right? They're regular people that this is the first time they're doing this stuff.
Well, if you remember, they met on the internet.
No, I know.
And there's 85 active serial killers.
Yeah.
So there's 85 people that signed up, and only serial killers, like no cops can join in the chat and pretend, right?
No. And again, this is probably around the time of chat rooms and all that stuff.
Oh, totally.
And you could have
this is it.
But the two people that connect to become the killers are not killers at all. They're all new to this stuff. Yet they do a lot of like the stuff they do and how they kill and the stuff they do, like timing and everything else, is this as if they've been killing for a long time. Like they're amateur. They should be like they should. The fact that like they were able to plan knowing that these two people, Omar and Jada, are going to be at the movie theater. They knew that. They knew to be able to, where they're going to be at the theater. How did he know he's going to be in the bathroom? Is beyond me.
Oh, how does he know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, like all those things, just so again, like the fact that first of all, there's a lot of coincidences in this movie that the killers just happen to be right where they needed to be at the right time.
The van, and again, all that. Yeah.
The van. How did they know he's going to go? But again, that's the movie. But yeah, I mean, it's just funny because they're just one's a college, whatever. They're two regular people that just somehow have the biggest plan that works to a T from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie.
Yeah, it's like you get to the pearly gates and they're like, "Yeah, you died." Omar Epps is like, "Man, if I just peed before I went to the theater, I'd still be alive today." And I love that the two guys are peeing in the bathroom with the masks on. They stare back, like super creepily. And the fact that he falls for me, like the weird talking.
I honestly I had no idea what was going on with that, but how gross the fact that he's putting his ear on the dirty stall to listen. First of all, if I go to the bathroom or any of the stalls, I don't want to touch anything. I mean, like
I touch nothing, hands up,
nothing, elbows, like I use my elbows or my foot or whatever. Like nothing of my skin is touching anything. And he's placing his face on the wall to listen to someone in the toilet. Like, so like whatever noise he's making, what does he want to hear? What if the guy just starts, doing an explosion in there? Like that what you want? You want to get closer to that? Is that what you want to get closer to? I mean, ridiculous.
That's bizarre. Yeah, no, that was. But that kill is one that haunts me. I think that one is really just when you see the knife and you see just the way. But the thing that I think about is how do they like? He cleans up that quick. Where's he put the body? There was nothing in there. There was no closet. Where's it going?
Before you even get there. If you put your face on a door, like if you go on one side of the door and you put your face there, right? And I have a knife. I think if I stab 10 times, I don't know if I'm going to hit your ear. I don't know if I'm going to get you. Like, it would be like Battleship. Like, you're going to move your head to one side. I'm going to try to stab you. And then you move it. Like, literally, it was not even like hitting his head. Like, he went right to the earlobe. Like, right through his head. Perfect. Without seeing. That's pretty impressive. So the fact that
most action movies, it misses. Like all those other action movies, it's always like the axe goes above the head or to the side. It'd be a really funny version of Scream. I don't know if you could be funny, but like a Tucker and Dale, like in that they're like they don't obviously want those things to happen. So it would be really hard to write the story that it would work, but it'd be really funny at the end of the movie if they showed them doing all the kills and how everything was orchestrated, even like 5 minutes or like maybe like a featurette on the DVD or Blu-ray. But it would be really cool to see him like have like a bunch of X marks, like trying to guess. And he's like, all right, this is it. Like, oh my God, it worked. And he like on the other side, he's like, oh my God. Like
again, 100%. And again, he just happened to know that Omar's going to use the stall. Like he had to pee. Why would he go in the stall? Only because there were no. So how did the Ghostface know that he's going to be going into the stall?
Yeah,
because he's waiting. And how long is he waiting? Like, is he waiting with his feet up on the toilet? And and he's like, and he keeps checking his watch. He's like, all right, man, like he's got to go to the bathroom at some point. Like,
Oh my god! And when he go like is about to open the door, like when he was gonna go to that one, he's like, "Oh, sorry, my bad." And then, God,
or
then
he's got like
kill.
I was gonna say he's got like a pile of bodies lined up because he keeps like it's someone else every single time he stabs, and it's not Omar.
Shit,
he's like, all right. Yeah,
17 other people were killed, but since they don't go to the local college, we really don't care. But so then Jada's kill was again sort of, but again the chaos makes it sort of make more sense. But when he comes out and he's not talking, and then she sees the blood, and I just love obviously not the look on the killer's face because it's just a mask, but it was more like, I guess because of the expression, just taking out the knife, showing it to her, like shimmers, and then just stabs her in the stomach. And then the way he's following her. But you know what's funny? Like most of the time we watch these movies like a la Son of the Mask, which, man, look at that, Jamie Kennedy.
That's what you had to bring up?
The connection. God. No, remember when he's on the street and what's his name pulls out the big like stupid hammer gun thing, and everybody, because they don't see that because it's not really there until in post when they add it in, nobody reacts. At least one guy reacted in the theater. He was like this. He was like looking at his hands with blood on it, and people are going up to him. He's like, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, first of all, I like how you reference a movie to so our audience could visualize the reference that you're doing to a movie that but to a movie that probably no one's seen in our audience. So you picked the most obscure.
I'm gonna go back to episode 1 and see how it all began 302 ago. You know,
but again, that was before we had an audience. So you're you pick a movie that they're pretty like, what are they talking? What is he talking about? Son of a Mask? Like they made a sequel to that movie? Like, so that's the movie you reference. All right, so I'm not on board with that. So if anyone's listening, so. And you know what I was expecting to happen. So she walks on stage. She's hunched over. She's bleeding, and the audience starts looking at her. I thought they were going to start like applauding, like they thought it was like part of the act.
I know.
Because I mean, the way everybody's acting, and again, it's complete chaos in there. Why wouldn't they think this is all part of the show? Because there wasn't one person acting normal. It really was a free for all in that. I mean, you had a flying Ghostface that was somehow flying on like something on wires or something.
That's what I mean.
Right.
It was crazy.
It was complete chaos. So like, why would they think she's really stabbed? I would have in the audience. It would have been funny if one guy was standing just maybe by himself and just started clapping. Like,
this is awesome. This is great performance theater. But just the fact that one guy actually reacted, and I love that every time they showed Jada like walking up and then he'd stab again, and they'd show back, and the guy's like explaining, probably because they're extras, you're not talking, you're just mouthing. They're all mouthing at each other like blah 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 blah, blah like the blood on the hands. But God, and then we go to Sidney Price, Neve Campbell. I know you were. Again, you could have crushed on her, you were, in your 20s, but the seminal girl for my friend group from that time, like, cause that's when I first got a computer. I remember on my family computer downloading like a very risque photo shoot that Neve Campbell did. And she was probably like maybe 20 ish at the time, but she was so smoking, like, and her career, like at that point, she's probably like when we talked to DB Sweeney, like so many actors, there's choices you have. You can choose to do Mighty Ducks, or you can choose to do The Cutting Edge. And maybe as a fan, that's what he wanted to do. With her, I bet you she had some great opportunities. Maybe she passed up on, because she was such at this time, like she was in like the most popular. This brought back the mainstream horror genre. But man, when you see her for the first time, the phone call comes in, and we talked about it earlier. Hey, Billy Smith at 4444555. And he's like, oh shit, how'd you know? And she's like, caller ID, asshole. Like, yeah. So
is that something that's common though, to have Ghostface's voice? Like how everybody has the exact.
It's the generic that's what I think made the idea of the movie even scary, because everybody could get that. That was one you could buy at any Party City Halloween.
The real like sounding like that. Like I never.
It's like it's like a generic one. I think that's what made it so frightening, and that's why in the next one then they upped the technology with like using other people's voices with that same voice box.
Okay. So, but wouldn't you think though the stores would stop selling that, considering a year ago?
Well, Haddonfield kept selling Michael Myers masks, like which they weren't even a thing. It's Michael Myers is. It's crazy. Why would a town celebrate a murderer that never the mask wasn't a thing before? But in this one, this was, I guess, maybe in the ethos of this movie, this is a costume that was always popular. But could you imagine if they had like Ted Bundy or like, here, buy Ted Bundy's outfit and his glasses for Halloween
and get excited about it? Yeah, 100. And what parent is gonna like, hey, no, you know what? You shouldn't go as Ghostface. Like, you know, this character killed, you know, how many people, you know, just recently. No, that's gonna be the #1 Halloween costume. Like you would think it would, like that mask should be banned. The voice changer should be banned. No, let's promote it even more. So, you know, yeah, that's ridiculous. Okay.
So then Sydney sees the breaking news, and then she's the press is all around her. And then we cut to one of the, you know, the best scene, the scene that defines our podcast. I didn't have the clip for us to play live, but I'm going to add it in post. So you guys be listening to it right now.
Are you suggesting that someone's trying to make a real life sequel?
Stab 2? Who'd want to do that? Sequels suck.
No, wow. Come on, man.
Oh, please. By definition alone, they're inferior films.
It's bullshit generalization. Many sequels have surpassed their original.
Oh, yeah?
Name one.
Yeah.
Aliens, far better than the first.
Yeah, well, there's no accounting for taste.
Thank you, Ridley Scott rules. Name another.
No, Aliens is a classic, okay? Get away from her, you bitch.
I believe the line is stay away from her, you bitch. It's film class, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Whatever, you know what I mean.
Another.
T2.
You've got a hard-on for Cameron.
Big one.
But wait a second. The first Terminator is historical.
Yeah.
Sarah Connor.
Yes. Wait, all right, okay. House 2, the second story.
What?
The entire horror genre was destroyed by sequels.
I got it, by the way. I got it. The Godfather, Part 2.
Very good. That's the Oscar-winning
All right, that's enough. That'll be a wrap. The sequel discussion to be continued.
So, Mr. Originality, how would you make it different?
I'd let the geek get the girl.
But no, that whole thing is just, it's really like Joshua Jackson was already big at that time. You had, you know, Sarah Michelle Gellar. I'm trying to think, wasn't there one other person in the back that was someone? I'm trying to think if I'm
trying to think too. It looked like a few faces that were familiar. So yeah, I mean, no, and you know what?
Who this was like his first thing, because Go came out 98, 99, I think. So this is like the beginning of one of my favorite actors. Like, he's a guy that can do it all: comedy, be a badass, be evil. So
so I'm glad you mentioned that. So I'm a huge Timothy Olyphant fan. I mean, I just watched Justified. He was in there. I love Go. I love, you know, the girl next door. I think it was that's the girl next door.
Oh my
right?
God, he's great in that.
Yeah. No, he's good in everything he does. Like, he really is. It's funny. Like, you know, this is, I think, his first movie, and you can tell like how much he's grown as an actor, because I thought he was awful in this movie.
Really?
Like, you know, again,
I love Mickey.
He was just so, again, he was over the top, and it just, you know, like, because if you take Go is only a year or two later, and his character in Go, like his acting in Go is amazing. Like the creepy drug dealer, like, you know, like, so good. But I feel like he was just, again, he was new, and I just think his acting wasn't great in this. And again, it was just beginning of stages. So I was surprised, because when I saw him, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that he was in this. And but then I think he could, again, it's his first job. I give him a pass, but I don't think he was a good actor in this movie. At the end, really? He was so over the top. Like, it was like, yeah. Okay.
I do love, like, everybody's mentioning like real sequels when they're talking about like when Randy goes into his sequels suck.
And they nailed it. They nailed the sequels. Like, which sequels are better? Because wasn't Randy against it? He says no sequel is better. Didn't Randy say that?
Yeah. Joshua Jackson had the best one. House 2, the second story.
I can't
Which is
believe
the
they mentioned
greatest-
that.
It's no joke the best named sequel of all time. I don't think anything can beat that. The fact that it's the second story, a house has a second story, like just that dad joke added in.
But and again, it's kind of an obscure horror movie. I don't think a lot of people have seen it. So for them to mention of all the movies, that's the one they mention is pretty.
And Wes could have been one of those guys, even though Kevin Williamson wrote this movie. He could have been like, "Hey, let me do a little homage to Wes. Hills Have Eyes, or Hills Have Eyes 2, or like Nightmare 3." They could have went with, or even like New Nightmare. They could have done something like that. No, they went with House 2. The second
House 2.
story
I know
with
that's so funny.
That deep cut.
Yeah.
But how about Randy when he sees? I'm trying to think. Who does he say it to? Timothy Oliphant, Mickey, or does he say it to Dewey when he first talks to him? But I love it. He goes, "How would you have your this sequel end or something?" And he goes, "I let the geek get the girl," and he sprays Banaka like in his mouth.
Okay. So between Dewey and Randy, like they're really no. I mean, like Dewey with his hand. What happened to his hand?
Well, he got stabbed in the back.
Okay, so
he like severed like a nerve. He said,
okay,
yeah.
And I love the fact that he has cowboy music every time you hear him. Like he has that like cowboy.
That sound of like the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But
what a great sound.
But the point is though, like this town is relying on a horror movie nerd and a cop, or is he still a cop? Or was he a security guard?
Oh no, he's still a cop. No, he's still a cop in Woodsboro, I believe. And then he's in, I don't know where the movie's set. It was filmed in Georgia.
Well, he said he flew in.
I love that the cop that is the like campus cop, I guess, or the town cop. He was in the Faculty like the next year, and he plays like one of the. He's one of those guys in a million things.
Yeah. But my point is though, like, but they rely on these two doofuses to help solve the crime. Like they're throughout the movie, they're asking Randy, his opinion. He's a guy that watches horror movies. Like, why would he be involved in any of the topics at all? Is ridiculous. That just shows you how bad the cops are awful in this movie. They're like,
oh no, oh my god,
no
the
skill.
Other two,
I know. I'm saying so
terrible. Wouldn't it be like the younger detectives that are good, not like 40s, 50s guy?
And honestly, shouldn't there's a few people shouldn't Courtney Cox, shouldn't Randy also have detectives around them because they were part of the murder in the first movie? Like they were there, like 100%. They should be protected also. So okay, all right,
no way. It's not like it would have worked. Okay. It's clearly it did not work at all, and gave us such a gross scene. I wish I could talk to Jamie Kennedy and ask him, or maybe have some behind the scenes featurette. They have it. But when he sees Sid and he breaks into the Australian, I bet you that was ad-libbed. It must have been. And it would have been a good one too. It's like, what are you doing?
I've been trying to get Jamie Kennedy for the longest time, because I just figure he's not doing anything. So
now he's not. Now he just turned it off. He just turns it off.
Listen, I probably said the same thing for Son of the Mask, and he still hasn't got. Yeah, he still hasn't responded. It's 3 years.
No, you
later,
went in on him since he's not listening anymore because he turned off his radio. You get Harold and Kumar too, man. When I mentioned he was in the first one, and you went pretty tough into him, but no, he's great in this.
Okay,
movie.
well, hold on. The fact that we've now covered 3 movies that have Jamie Kennedy.
Oh no, he's not in the second one. No, he was in the first one because you said you never saw the first Alan Kumar. I go, oh, there's a really funny scene.
Oh, okay, Jamie Kennedy.
Still,
his name. Okay, if you take all the names that we talk about, his name comes up quite often.
It does.
Like it's okay.
He is okay. He is who he is. Like he's done some wild stuff. Like the Jamie Kennedy Experiment was a great. It launched.
If you know what, if he came on our podcast, it would relaunch his career.
Oh my God. Jamie, if you turn this back on, please just don't go back 15 seconds. But no, he is so good in that role. Even like he goes in that silly voice. Then we see Jerry O'Connell. So if this is one of those movies that you watched, especially in like 97, and like maybe you didn't like watch trailers or, because that's how you really found out. It's not like you're going to IMDb in 97, But you watch this movie, you're like, oh my God, he's in this. I know all of his stuff from the 80s. And, geez.
His career is one that is just, I find amazing. The fact that you watch Stand By Me and you take all those actors and you're like, you know what is this kid gonna do after this movie? Like, you can see like all the other ones. You got the fat kid who's like, you never, like, the kid from Goonies. He really didn't do anything. Like, no way. And he becomes like all his movies are about like sex and getting a hot girl, and like what a complete change around that Jerry O'Connell did from what you would have thought his career would have been.
Oh, I know, dude. And he got Rebecca Romaine. Look at that.
Amazing. Yeah.
Unreal. And we need Corey Feldman. He's going on tour at Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, but he looks exactly the same.
At PNC Bank Art Center in New Jersey. I'm going.
Wait a second. Wait, he's going on tour at Limp Bizkit?
He's opening for Limp Bizkit. The end of July. I'm like, and I think they actually got a good date. I think it's like a Saturday night show. I'm like, dude, that is going to be the greatest thing ever, because I'd never seen Limp Bizkit live, and that was like
oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, their movies aren't in this. Like the fact that the bands that are on the soundtrack, the one I always remember is Cottonmouth Kings. We'll get to that scene, but yeah. So back to it. I love when Gail shows up because she's such a great.
This is the sound of your ride home with Dad after he caught you vaping. Awkward, isn't it? Most vapes contain seriously addictive levels of nicotine and disappointment. Know the real cost of vapes. Brought to you by the FDA.
Courtney Cox, man, she was so great at playing a bitch, because that's not who you knew her as. I think it was really fun for her, probably, because even in the movie she was in at this time, it was really just Ace Ventura, and she played kind of like Monica on Friends. She was like that same kind of character, but it was great seeing her as a bitch in this.
When did Friends start? Do you know, like, what year?
Oh, 93, 94.
Okay, so like I like the fact that they basically name dropped two friends on this.
Oh, I know.
Movie.
Yeah, I know.
Like, which was pretty funny. So yeah, because they mentioned David Schwimmer and Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, because David Schwimmer played Dewey, which I was hoping that, I forgot if there was a clip of that part.
Right. That would be funny.
The line that she says about like, hey,
Jennifer Aniston?
That's my face on Jennifer Aniston's body. So there's a Jennifer. So she agreed to do a joke of her friend that there's nude photos of her around her somewhere in this universe. She had nude photos leaked. That's what's pretty funny. But I love the cameraman, Joe, the cameraman. I forget the actor's name, but he's in a lot too. Always good. I love when he's boasting about his credentials of what he's done, like his film credits. And when he goes, I did do the bingo finals.
Yeah. Okay. So you have Gail Weathers, who is, I guess, a very known reporter, a book writer, movie, and she can't get a cameraman.
No, I think,
like,
it's bizarre.
Like, and the fact that she's, and again, this guy is literally like a college student, taking a photography class, who's running around with a camera. That's what he is. And she tells him a few times, I really need you on this. Like, she can't, like, there's no one else. Like, I mean, I found that kind of weird. Because even the other reporters, the one from Roseanne, like, she looked up to her, like she knew her right away. She's like,
we saw,
which again, another overactor. Like, her last scene, I couldn't take.
Yeah.
So,
but she is a phenomenal actress. Oh my God.
But yeah, but I'm surprised though. Like, why does she not have her own cameraman? Like, didn't she have like a professional one in the first movie?
Well, maybe the fear of it. Maybe the fear that everybody that knows her really well, maybe this cameraman didn't really know of what happened in Woodsboro. It's like people don't know what happened even in, what's the name of the town in Freddie?
Elm Street?
No, remember it's something Wood?
I know.
Isn't it something Wood?
Oh, I have no idea.
Is that a little West add-in? But anyway, like, maybe this guy doesn't read up on, the whole story because it's maybe far away. Maybe that's why she can get him, because he's shocked and he goes, so I was reading your book and the cameraman died? His throat got slit? Man, I can't do this job. She's like, no, I made that up. He was stabbed in the stomach or something.
again, you see this in movies all the time. Like, this is national news. You one person dies, let alone you have how many people died in the first one? At least 5, say. So
I think more than that. No,
right.
More than that.
So you're gonna tell me you've never heard of this, and then the night before you show up at a press conference, 2 people just got died in a movie theater. Come on. I mean, when they do this in movies and they never hear about it, it just always baffles me because they have the woman who's suing McDonald's on the news. You're not gonna have mass murders on the news that you're gonna hear about.
Yeah. But I love that just the fact that he's like, I was reading your book. So Springwood, I should have known that. So Springwood, Woodsboro, maybe that a little add in, or because Wood adding that is the most popular thing. But Debbie Salt, like you just mentioned, phenomenal actress. We should know her name. I'll pull it up so give her amazing credit. Laurie Metcalf. So Laurie Metcalf's in this movie. Just thinking about this cast. The cast of these people are unbelievable. But she's in love with Gail, and Gail's a kind of a bitch to her. You're like, oh, this is really odd.
To everybody.
And it's odd when you go, when you go back and watch this movie once we know, let's just say now, it's Debbie Salt and Mickey, Timothy Olyphant. Those are the 2 killers in the movie. And when you go back and watch it, you're like, it's kind of odd. This lady's super obsessed. I guess it sort of makes sense because Gail is uber famous at this point, so why not try to get it in with her? But it's she's and she's always at the right place. When she's on the phone in that one spot, that'd be such a giveaway, right?
Of course. Well, yeah, but having the fact that the whole movie takes place on campus, right? Mm-hmm. On a campus, which, by the way, the campus should have been shut down multiple times.
I know.
Or why is Sydney still on campus? Multiple times. But Sydney had to have seen a lot of these news people. She recognized Metcalf at the end of the movie right away. She didn't see her at all on campus before then, knowing it's Billy's mom, again, how big is the campus, and everything seems to be taking place in 3 areas of the campus, either the cafeteria, the theater, or right in the front lawn. There's and everybody else that's where it's going. You would have thought that she would have seen her at least and recognized her right away.
No, I know. But they did for us. So I bet you if we went back, they're never in the same scene, in the movie or even close to it. So maybe that's her, the way she was able to slink around without, Sid seeing her. But so then we get, again, more people, like you mentioned earlier, Portia de Rossi and Rebecca Gayheart are trying to get Sid to pledge at their sorority. And then, you mentioned the loud. I never thought about it as cowboy music for when you see Dewey. But it's sort
right
of
away.
like that.
It is
so good.
It's like the cowboy, the sheriff that's coming to the town that's quiet and he walks into the bar for the first time. That's the music I picture with Dewey. And again, I guess that's his kind of his role. He was a lone cowboy in the first movie and he helped. And again, he's a likable cat. Unfortunately, all I think of is Doofy.
Doofy from Scary Movie.
From Scary Movie. So every time I hear Dewey, I'm just thinking Doofy right away, and the way they played him. So it's and he is kind of Doofy.
Oh no, he definitely is. He's another one perfect for the role. I don't know if anybody else could have done a lot of the roles, especially the core characters.
Were they married at the time? Married at the time?
No, I don't know if they got married yet,
or maybe they met.
I'm sure they met.
I'm talking about. Well, I didn't get to finish because you were talking, but met on set. Why?
Because I know because they get married in the movie universe in the third one, and then in the fourth one they're divorced, and in real life they were divorced, so they did that whole.
Ouch.
And then even the first one they had this weird moment and everything. But I love that we get that she doesn't punch her when the fact that I wonder if has this ever happened. A friggin' I don't know what you call it, a bamboozle interview or an ambush. The fact that Liev Schreiber's in this movie, which you haven't mentioned his name yet, but the fact that he is
wait, was he in the first one though? Wasn't he in the first one at all?
You don't see him, you just know.
So you just heard about him. Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So he's a perfect casting, but he's a pretty big guy. The fact that she's standing there and he kind of like almost comes behind Gail to like
she didn't see him. It was like he was hiding, like he was like squatting behind her. Yeah. And it's funny, like he looks so young in this. Like he had to be so young in this. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But yeah, again, talk about a career. His career took off after this. I mean, I feel like a lot. Like this movie had so many, like really, like almost every character is someone that's been in so much stuff. Like a lot of times you have these movies where you have a couple of nobodies. No, but they're all somebody. So yeah.
Except I don't know the last time you saw Scream 3, but his opening scene in Scream 3, so good. He's great. But I love the backhand. So she backhands her, and then you get this on film? Yes, I got this on film. Like that back and forth, which is God, love it.
Wouldn't you go to jail for that though? Like for assault?
Assault? I would think so. Yeah, I don't know why.
And it's on camera. Charges. Like it's literally on camera.
The safest place for her, right? Well, I guess because the cops are so bad, they probably leave her alone or give the key to the killer or something like that. But
yeah, true.
Oh right. Man. And then, we have a little interaction with Dewey and Gail because Dewey's pissed off the way it was like, because she called him basically like a bumbling idiot in the book and he's aloof and all this stuff. But then we get to the sorority party and
so what's the time frame from that day to the murder? Was it the night before? Like,
the murder's almost at the theater the night before. Yeah.
So how can you possibly have like a big party after two students just got murdered, and you have two students that were involved in murders the previous year before that? Like, how can you celebrate that? Like usually a school would shut down. Like, no, these people are like acting like there's no care whatsoever.
No, I know. There's, hey man, getting these pledges. We need the pledges.
And not to mention like I'm assuming the news has talked about, because Gail talked to Sydney briefly. So people are starting to put the connection together of the movie theater murder and Sydney, right? So like that's got to be known around campus. Would you want to be anywhere near Sydney at this point?
No, I would avoid the fact that Cotton stays even in town.
Well,
is bizarre.
No, and listen. The guy spent years in prison. He needs money. He doesn't have a job. Yeah. He was in prison. I mean, so it's a little different for him.
Diane Sawyer, Sid. This is big.
I mean, okay. Is Cotton older than them? Like, is he like? He seems kind of older.
Yeah, he's probably like in his late 20s. He was like a younger guy that was having an affair.
Right.
With the
Right.
Mom
so the fact that he's able to just hang around campus throughout the whole movie.
Weird. Very weird.
For an older guy, yeah. So it's a little weird. But again, so these girls also want Sydney to pledge. Again, I would want to be so far away from her that I mean, it's just weird that they're throwing a party the next day.
Yeah.
So okay.
So then we cut to the sober sister, Cece.
Okay, hold on a second. So the party's on campus, correct?
Minutes away, they walk there.
Okay, so why do they need a sober sister?
Great question. I guess so we can see the daughter from Vegas Vacation.
That's probably the reason why. Okay,
she does not die.
I know.
That's what's crazy.
And how creepy is it the way she enters the room? Like, who enters a room like that? Like she's surprised, like it's just like it's a normal like entering. But the fact that they have a sober sister for an on-campus party just seems weird. But also, and we see this in movies, the minute you get a weird phone call, why do people hang on? Like I want nothing. Or why is she staying in the house? Wouldn't you just get out of there as soon as possible?
Yeah. Well, I guess her cordless phone won't stay connected. She can't get off the phone with her other friend that's home. So her other friend's not partying. She's just on the phone with him. The fact that she thinks it's her boyfriend at first. Okay, Ted. Are you drunk, Ted? Have you been drinking?
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Did you know Chief Hartley? Is that old guy that was in A Million Things? Because Chief Hart. Oh my God. That's David Arquette's dad.
Really?
Yeah, I just looked at the name, Louis Arquette.
The Chief? Oh
my
gosh.
That's
That is
wild.
funny.
That must have been pretty cool. Oh my god, she doesn't even have. Oh, her name's Marisol Nichols is Donnie. That was the girl that left, which from Vegas Vacation.
So, you
She's
know
a
what?
bunch
Let me
of
ask you this.
stuff. Wow.
Let me ask you this question about characters. So, like, why, if her name is Marisol Nichols, why does she need a last name in the cast? Like,
no, that's her real name. Her name in the movie is Donnie, which is a weird name. Donnie.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, why are they giving her a last name, which is on there for 2 seconds? Okay, Donnie.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so she obviously to not go too in depth on this whole scene. The one thing I do love is Scary Movie, which was the actual name of Scream title wise until they changed it. But the fact in Scary Movie that has so many scenes from this movie, and this is the one that when she's running up the stairs. But one thing I want to ask you is, at this point, we know because we've seen this movie before. But watching back, it's like this is when you really know there has to be two killers.
100%. Because how can
because the voice
no
talks
phone
while he's walking,
and there's no phone,
in,
correct?
Or he or she.
But so obviously, this is always a theme, and they make fun of it in Scary Movie. But why are the Ghostface killers? And I don't remember if this is the same for the third movie as well. But they're all clumsy. They're all clumsy.
The mask. Why didn't they pick a mask that's better on your eyes?
But that's kind of like alleviates some of the, like, you know, if you're trying to be like a horror movie and scary, but like the Ghostface is always tripping on stairs, tripping on a table, like always falling. Like, it's just very funny, you know, that they're always, and again, it's the same, and it's not the same people, obviously, but in the first movie too, they were always clumsy. But yeah.
Okay. Have you ever worn that costume before or no?
I have not.
If you think about it, I wasn't it for Halloween, but I did it for this, with my buddy Tom. We used to film horror movies, and we had one called Yell. We used a different mask, but it was kind of like a spoofy thing, but we wore the same like garb. And you know, it's silly. Again, wouldn't you want something comfortable?
Yeah.
It's long.
So you can
So
trip on it.
that's why, because even when you lift up, you almost catch like your feet like every time, and you can't see with the mask, but you're so spot on. Everybody's so clumsy, even like chasing her up the stairs and not being able to avoid everything.
So as a killer though, like even the first movie, why do they need the gown? I get the mask because you want to hide your face. Like like really all you need is the mask. Like what's that movie? Funny. No. When they Home Invasion one with they wear the animal mask.
Oh, the strangers. Strangers.
Strangers.
Oh no.
Right?
Your mask is the animal mask. Yeah.
Or something like that, like or the strangers.
Mm-hmm.
All they have is a mask, right? They're not like they put on the whole garb. That's obviously, and you would think they would learn a lesson, but no, they keep wearing the whole garb.
They keep tripping.
They can trip on. Yeah, okay.
I guess because the killers didn't survive, they didn't get to ask them. Hey, how was it killing that outfit? Would you recommend it? No. Okay. I get 1 star for that on Amazon.
Was that mask around before the movie?
I don't think so. I don't know why it would be.
Okay.
Because there's no reference to anything. It does like give you like Scooby-Doo vibes, just the way it's
does.
Skinny.
But, I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, again, it was a scary movie when the mask was high and you see his face, like the change and everything.
The tongue sticking out in like different parts.
Yeah. Scary movie was
so
great.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. But but I love the soundtrack to this movie. This is the first time like it's really awesome. I wish I knew the name of the song or just the line that they chose to start on when he chases her up and he starts stabbing her on the balcony, which again, I would love a recap or to ask like Kevin Williamson or, you know, to be able to know who was who in this part. Like who was Mickey and who was Debbie Salt or Billy's mom at this part?
Wait, you think Billy's mom was actually wearing the mask in any of these scenes?
At one point, she has to be. No. She has to be for.
No, I'm talking about like
the sorority
as
house.
the actress. I'm talking about as
no.
the actress.
No. I know.
Oh,
I
okay.
know that. No.
Well, the way
I'm
you made it
about,
sound, it's like
who's who in this. Who's who? Like in the writing of it. Like I think Mickey was at the party, even though we only see him walk in after the scene's over.
I would assume that Mickey is obviously the more physical scenes with the ghost.
Yeah.
Like so, you know. I mean, again, the whole cop scene had to be Mickey. I'm assuming that's not the mom, you know, when they're in a cop car. So, you know, but okay. So, you know, he stabs her on the balcony, but she easily could have shut the door because there was a door there. But did you notice how she fell and how she landed?
No.
So she fell like the Ghostface threw her over the balcony, right?
Yeah.
And she was going face down from the balcony. She ended up like on her back, like when you have the chalk marks. It's completely different. What she landed different than the way she. Yeah, it was pretty funny because literally, like you see her like falling like this straight down. You're not gonna roll over, like you're gonna face plant, and so.
I just love the song that hits, the lines that hit when she lands. It's never said I was innocent. And then we cut to the party. And then that's when you see like Sid is there already and Jerry O'Connell, Derek, and Mickey show up. So you're like, oh, which one was he in that thing? It's that close because you hear all the sirens and they know right away. But like, yeah, I would love to know that. Like, who is who? The only one they confirm. I wonder if they do this in the first one. If people say who killed who, but she says, "Oh yeah, when I was gutting your friend Randy." I think, she said that.
But she's a mom. Like she's gonna be able to like chase her up the stairs, stab her, throw her over the balcony, and again, it probably was her because Mickey was at the party, so there's no way he would have gotten there in time. It would have been funny if he pulled like Mrs. Doubtfire, like that would have been in a scary movie. I mean, scary movie that he'd go in there, but he doesn't have the mask on, but he has the outfit on by accident because
really funny. But they do this. This is one that I wrote down. This is the one line to make you think it's Randy. Was Sid when they got to the party said I'll go get the drinks, and then when he comes back, Sid goes, "What took you so long?" And it's like, that's just to make everyone not like even at that point it'd be crazy. It's like if it was anybody else, it wouldn't have made sense. I guess you couldn't do the boyfriend again, but sometimes they do that in movies. Harry Potter, they did the dark arts teacher 3 movies in a row. They were the evil person 3 movies. It's like, okay, I know who this is going to be.
No, you're right. You're right.
But to cut to the most kind of like icon. So the Randy scene to me is like the one for the movie. There's that one. And I think the end sequence is phenomenal, but the one when Dewey and Gail are at the college, I think the way that's done.
Okay. That scene was great. I mean, the way that she was in that sound studio was a good scene. So, again, I mean, go ahead. I don't know where you're going with that, but.
Oh, no. I was just, because this is the part of the movie, like, I think everything is so good. Like when she's leaving the house, Sid's like, "Oh, Derek, I just gotta grab my jacket." And she walks in and the phone rings and she has like that instinct to like grab it.
Why?
I don't know why you grab it.
It's not her house. It's not her house. Why are you answering the phone? Like it's a sorority house. Like if you walked in a fraternity, that you just had a party with, you're gonna answer their phone?
That'd be pretty cool. I might. If people had a house phone, even like back in the 2000s when I was like going to parties or Rutgers, I probably would have heard it ring. But I love how badass we get. Like, no, like toying around like the other movies, like a long conversation. She just says, "Why don't you show your face, you fucking coward?" And we get the door slam, and it's my pleasure. And you're like, "Whoa, this is good, man."
Yeah, but you know what's funny though, like. She toughened up in this movie. Like she doesn't seem as afraid. Like I mean, she's afraid in a lot of the scenes, but she's also like she's pretty badass in this movie. Like it's almost like whatever happened in the first one kind of toughened her up. Because I mean, again, to call out the killer, imagine that. Like you're calling out the killer to come get you. Like the one thing you don't want to do is really piss them off.
I know.
It's so like okay.
And she's like, let's get it over with. Like, let's do this now instead of waiting. And then maybe she's like, they're only after me. Like, I wonder if at that point they killed Sydney. Is it over? Is it Wile E. Coyote catching the Roadrunner?
So what's their game plan? Like, what was their whole game plan to do? I mean, I assuming to kill Sydney, but like, why not go after her right away? Why kill
the others? Why?
Right.
Yeah.
Or and again, like what? Again, I don't know what their game plan was. Like to set her up, I would see like if they wanted to set her up as if she's the killer. Okay, fine, that's a good revenge, get kill it. But like, I don't know what the plot is. Like, what's their goal? Because at the end of the movie, they're trying to kill her. So like, what's all the filler in between? Like that didn't make sense.
Well, for maybe she wants, maybe because Billy's mom orchestrated it. She just found a nutbag online. Like that's basically what she says. So maybe it was like to make her but why make all of her loved ones suffer? I know.
Yeah. And okay, you're I get it. Listen, I'm a parent, you're a parent, you know, you want revenge for your child. I get it. So you become a mass murderer?
I know. And then kill other people's kids. So then
that's what I mean. Like, fine. You want, again, if your goal is to kill Sydney, you want revenge. Okay, fine. I'm not condoning it, and I think it's the wrong way to respond. But that's your goal. But to kill others because you're angry at Sydney, I don't see the correlation. I don't understand why that. Like, so I think their plan has a lot of holes in it.
Oh, it definitely does. But they almost like even like. I think this is part of their plan, even though it's probably so hard to actually do because again, they're not professional murderers or knife experts, but the fact that when Jerry O'Connell goes in the house and leaves Sid outside and then comes back and he's cut and the fact that the killer did it. And it's almost like if you're Jerry O'Connell and you know, you're not the killer, like Derek is the character. He's probably like, oh my God, they're making me look like me. Because I'm pre-med, so I would know where I can cut that wouldn't like hit a vein. Because it was such a deep, gross cut. But they're like, then Randy's like, well, you know, he's pre-med, so he knew exactly where to do it. And you're like, whoa.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, I'm like, Randy always has the answers. So maybe Randy should be it. But not for nothing, would you leave Sydney alone? Like, there's a killer loose. How do you know the killers didn't sneak out the back door and now is going to go to the front when you go inside?
Yeah.
Like, and what is Jerry O'Connell going to do? Like, you know, like he's like, what do you say? Like, Sydney, let's just get out of here. Like, it's like,
let's run.
Let's run. Which never happens in this movie. Like, they're always like, instead of running away, like they go to places where they can get trapped. Every scene. Okay.
But, yeah, that whole and then this is when Dewey and Jamie Kennedy are eating and he was like going through why it should be him. And he's like, well, if he's a suspect, you're a suspect. And then he's like, well, if I'm a suspect, you're a suspect. And Dewey's like put back a little bit like, okay, let's move on. Like,
yeah.
So good.
No, that's funny.
So then Gail she figures out what they're doing. They put the names on the board in seconds. She's like, oh, they're repeating the murders of Woodsboro.
Okay, hold on. So they're in the police station, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So the chief is using a crippled cop, a newscaster, and a college freshman to help solve the case. And would you want a news person in the police station who you don't know how she's going to make you guys look like idiots? She's done it before.
So she looks like the hero.
Why? Yeah, why would you allow this? And not for nothing, the chief's not even saying anything. He's basically like the meeting's being run by the three of them, and he's sitting in the back like just watching. Like, you don't have it. There's no other police officers that should be involved in this. Maybe ask the other guys.
The guys that we see later in the movie, right? Why wouldn't they have? It seemed like they were brought on way too late. Like they should have already been working this case and watching Sid, which that whole thing, when we get to that, was like, yeah, she's going to have detail. And they're picking her up at night. They were in the police station in the middle of the day. And it took that long to get her out into protection. And they let Cotton out. Yeah.
No. And at this point, why are they spending any more time at the campus? So you have a killer that's loose on campus, who's now killed another person on campus, killed 2 students the night before. Clearly, students are a target. Mm-hmm. Why is anyone on campus right now? That campus should be shut down. And, you know, people go, no, people are still in fact, they have play practice. We still have to do play practice while this is going on. Like, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, it seems to be no care whatsoever that there's a serial killer that no one knows who loose. And let's keep hanging out in the same spot that he keeps showing up in.
Yeah, and to go to what we've talked, like adults being terrible, this case not getting them off cameos. And how about the guy who plays the doctor in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2? And also the guy that was going to be the first Freddy, who died, I think, last year. He plays the theater, director, and he's trying to get Sid to do the play after her friends are dying.
Okay. That's bad enough. Like, I mean, he should have some capacity. But how about the fact that the play is she gets stabbed by multiple masked people? I mean, how, again, this whole part, I find is extremely silly. Like, it's just so stupid. There's no way she would take part in this play. There's no way that the school would have a play about stabbing. Literally, it's so, and even when she's acting in it, when she decides to do it, she literally 3 people were just killed and she was almost killed. And she's acting like, I gotta turn that away and now focus on my play right now.
Let me focus on avoiding stabbing, because that's what I do in real life, is avoid being stabbed.
It's so ridiculous. Like, this play is really so stupid. Like, it really is dumb. Like,
Yeah. And it's funny, within the last 15 minutes of the actual movie runtime, she breaks up with Jerry O'Connell, and then he wins her back by singing "I Love You, Baby" in the cafeteria and going from table to table, which that scene is so iconic, because after it was spoofed so many times in different movies and TV shows, and maybe that was something that was from beforehand, he gets to gives her the Greek letters, "Oh, love you, we're back together." And then after when she has that attack at the when she's doing the play, then I have to dump you again.
He risked giving you the letters because I forget someone says you're not supposed to do that. Right, you're not supposed to give out your Greek
Mickey
letters.
Says that, yeah.
So, yeah, right. So she risked that, but first of all, they mentioned Tom Cruise, that's what he's doing. But is it really Tom Cruise? He was the only one that's ever done that, and it was it would be different if they sang the same song.
Yeah,
if he said "You Lost a Loving Feeling," wasn't there other movies like that did the same exact thing?
Yeah,
I don't know when.
I'm sure there's a bunch. It could have been Grease. Could have said Grease is the line. Not I would want him to sing those songs. But Summer Nights.
And you see that a lot, but I have never seen anything close to that. I mean, I could see you doing it. Maybe. Go ahead.
I've filmed videos with me doing songs and montages, but no, I've never seen it in real life. But it was pretty much before I would have even known what is it called, flash mobbing. This would have been if somebody said, "Oh, if somebody said, "Oh, there's a flash mob I saw in the city," and they said, "Oh, I don't know what that is." Oh no, it's in Scream 2. I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. Wait
a second. If you said flash mob in the city, I think people are going to be thinking someone's opening a trench coat. And you have a whole group of people open.
Maybe that's how it started. Hey guys, this is a really good idea, but let's not whip our penises out.
And it is New York, and it's New York City. So I mean, flash mob. Okay, you got to know who your audience is.
Yeah, no, I know. But so then Derek, when she dumps him, I love when he's like, "So is this the point when I should be understanding, right?" And then he's like, "Okay." He almost still wants to be involved, but it's kind of fish. The whole thing, they make you set it up, and I get that's the great writing of Kevin Williamson to make these movies what people strive to do after this with the whodunit.
And let's be honest, how long are they really dating for? I mean, if she's a freshman in college, and this is in the middle of the year, they couldn't, I'm sure they didn't date the first day of college. So a couple of months, not for nothing. There's a lot of chaos going around her, a lot of baggage. If she's saying let's break up, maybe we should take a little break for a while.
Oh, I know. I'd be like, what if your son called home and said, "Oh man, Dad, I'm dating the girl I'm dating. So many people are trying to murder her. This killer's trying to murder her. Get away, son. Get away. But I love her. I really love her. Get away. You might die."
Without a doubt. Yeah. No. And listen, mentally she's got to be a little off. I mean, we're seeing certain sides with her, but when she's back in her dorm room, she's got to be a mess. I mean, how could you not be?
I know.
You know, so like, there's a lot of baggage, and the fact that like, yeah, it would be a dicky move if he broke up with her because going through this time.
100%. I know. I was just thinking that.
You know, so like, all right, listen, she's doing the dirty work. I'm getting a break. She really is.
she's helping you out. I don't think,
and she's trying because she did it twice. Like, you know, if you're not getting the hit now, like really, you know, you're getting freebies. Just go.
Yeah. So here's another right place, right time kill, like you mentioned earlier, like with Randy when he dies. But I do love when they're first talking about who it could be, like when Gail's involved and they're sitting like in the middle of the campus. I love if you look in the back, the cameraman is like making a spear out of a twig with a knife in the background.
Yeah. This. I mean, again, Randy like talking smack, you know, the whole time is pretty. And you know, it's good, and it is a good scene. I mean, it's funny, but again, the fact that the killer knew to go all the way to the van is ridiculous.
Yeah,
you know.
Oh no, I know, and just the fact that he steps backwards to get closer to it at the end. But I do love the killer, and maybe it would feel like this was. Well, she admits at the end that she did this kill. But it sounds like Mickey was the one probably on the phone, maybe, because his line closer than you think, you geek.
Yeah, that would be something Mickey would say.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, dude, fuck you. And then, dude, he gets ripped in. And then when he's getting stabbed and the window breaks, they can't hear the window break because they're playing Cottonmouth King's Suburban Life on a boombox, and one guy's dancing fast.
Yeah, they were boomboxes back then. Like,
that's when those because the SummerSlam wrestling they were sponsored by it. It was like the JVC Kaboom box. I had one. You could plug a microphone into it. It was awesome.
I thought they were done with boomboxes.
D batteries.
But so you're gonna tell me the mom, she was able to grab him, throw him into the van, like again, you know, like, and those windows are not easy to break. I mean, the fact that they're. You know, so yeah. All right. That's why I would think Mickey would have done that one, but she admitted to it. So,
but and she did. It made more sense when you think about it in a way, because Randy was kind of fighting back for a second and trying to get away, so it wasn't like super quick. So, but the blood dripping out, and the reveal when they walk close to the van, they're like Randy, because they're tackling everyone on a phone. Because back then. What if they did that now? Everybody would be getting tackled and punched because everybody has a phone. There's probably like 4 people, but the one gets super, like right in front of his girlfriend, gets speared onto the ground. Yeah. But when they get to the van, they see the blood. First, she sees the window, then the blood, and you get that.
Would there be that much blood? Would there be that much blood like that? It was like like thick. It was like jelly. It was like thick blood coming out of the car. Like it was like dripping out of the car. Ridiculous.
Virgin blood.
Yeah,
and virgin blood sticker.
and again, like, what's the person? Okay, so and you kill like if you're killing someone, you want to kill someone. And again, I'm not condoning it, and I don't know anything about killing. You know, I'm assuming you killed to make them die. This mom is stabbing multiple times. So to me, it goes beyond revenge at this moment. You know, like if for whatever reason why she's killing Randy, you know, I don't understand her whole motive, but why she's stabbing him multiple times? Because if it's that much blood, he's got to be pretty wide open. Like she probably bludgeoned him pretty bad.
Yeah.
Why?
Maybe Randy didn't invite Billy to his birthday party, and he was the only kid left out, and maybe something like that. But no, that was brutal. But you get to zoom in on Gale screaming. You're like, oh my God, dude. And his face, like they really showed his death. A lot of the other people, we really don't see the aftermath, you know?
Right. Well, he was a big character, you know, so.
Yeah. So it was pretty good. Right. Dude, the scene in again, I don't know if any school would have it wired like this, but when they're in the computer lab, again, Sid, why are they letting her go in public at this point? And why are they letting people sit next to her? Because that kid's right next to her. There's a million computers. But when he's like, when the message goes, oh, you have an incoming message, but I'm not logged in. Oh, I guess it must be somebody it must be one of the computers here. Why would that be a thing that you can message randos?
You can't. And the fact that they know how to, like, they're able to figure it out, like they're two amateurs. Like, there's no way that they would have access to that and to be able to figure out which computer to send it to.
I know. What if she sat in a different one?
Yeah,
like
they
had, or maybe they put everything on like out of order, and she only could sit there because there's too many coincidences in this movie.
And then where are they doing it from? Like, is that like because they obviously had to be in the same room? Like, they had to be there. Was Mickey there? I didn't even see, like, he wasn't in that room.
No.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. All right.
So somebody must have been normal in there because you can't wear them. Or the person forgot they had the mask on. That'd be good for the Mrs. Doubtfire bit that you were talking about earlier. That they're like, excuse me, you're dressed like, oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why I walked out of the house in this. Like, but no, that's so true, dude. Like, and the fact that Liev Schreiber is very aggressive about the $10,000 on Diane Sawyer.
And where are the cops that are watching her? Doesn't he say, like, I'll be right back?
Yes, I'll be right back, and I'm going to put your back to a door that leads to a stairwell that they could kidnap you and take you wherever without us seeing you. Wouldn't you ever stay in the middle of the room?
No, of course. And there's two cops. So while one's gone, why can't the other one wait and watch? Like, no, they're basically their only job is to watch her and keep her safe. Yet somehow Liev Schreiber, who's a suspect, is able to sneak in there, as an adult, sneak in there, corner her right in the corner, and no one sees it. Yeah. And the two guys that are watching her, they had to go to the bathroom at the same time.
Hey, you stay here. We're going to run in the opposite direction of where you are. So silly. But Liev, his role, he crushes. And I love when he's in the police station and he sees Gail. And again, to make you think that it could be him, he said, you helped me get out of prison. Are you having character doubts now? And it's like, whoa, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And again, why is Gail at the prison?
She's all access at this point.
She has access to every...
Yeah, she can go wherever she wants.
It makes no sense. There's no way a news reporter will have that much access right in the center of the prison. So,
yep. And Debbie Salt is there. And that's when Gail calls her, you're just a local woman. That's what she said. That was her dig to her. And then she was kind of like, and she like huff and puffed away.
See, that makes me think then that's she was the one that was at the sound studio then, because she's angry at Gail.
Yeah, man. The next scene. Oof.
Yeah, you know what? That would make sense because isn't the cop car scene going on at the same time?
Well, all this that's what I was about to say. The movie. In like movie time, it's probably only another 2 hours. Like from this point when they leave, because this is when, because that's when Sydney gets like the detail. Her friend goes with her, and man.
So Gail's idea was to look at the videotapes right from the camera. That's why they go to the theater, or
they go to the film school, which the cops don't have that.
Okay. Besides that. Why do they have to go to the school to use it? They don't have one. First of all, doesn't she work for a news studio that has?
Yeah, but she's not local, so she's flying in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Oh, she flew in for this whole thing?
Yeah, she doesn't like live in this town. She's like a national. So maybe no, but you're right. She could have like talked to the local affiliate. Hey, can I use your thing? Or there's a big thing. You want to solve a murder, right? Buy one. Maybe
they're breaking into the school, which I don't even think they broke into. So you have a campus that has a serial killer that's killing people. Don't you think security would be on like the doors would be locked? Nothing. They were able to walk in. First of all, know exactly where to go to use the VCR tape. Was it VCR tape, right?
Yeah.
They didn't have DVD. They didn't have DVDs back then.
No, 97 was not the switch yet. No, that was like right after Laserdisc, and they weren't. Yeah, if it was maybe the beginning of like the first DVD, but the fact that the killer purposely they put out of order on every other door at the film school, so this is the only one they were able to go into, the only one,
and they knew they would go there. I mean, when did they have time to do all this?
I would think it's fishy. If I showed up and I saw, I would go to the room that doesn't have it. Maybe I have to pull it out of the closet and plug it in. Like that'd be really fishy that it's already like almost calling me like, do you do it here?
And again, you're staying in the crime scene. Like, wouldn't you want to be as far away as possible and do it somewhere else? Go to the library. I'm sure there's many libraries in the area. No, let's stay on campus where the killer could probably find us.
Yeah. So yeah, that same year is when DVDs came out. First one came out March 24th, 97. So that was the first one. I'm trying to think what Twister and Mars Attacks were the first movies ever
Mars Attacks
to come out on DVD. Good fun trivia fact. Yeah, that's the second one we gave to our listeners. The other one was the first ever PG-13 movie was Red Dawn. Because of I forgot what movie like caused the whole thing. Oh, Aliens, Terminator, one of those.
Aliens, I think it was.
Wasn't it a Spielberg movie? And then Spielberg's like, that's why you should have
Indiana Jones.
PG-13.
Indiana Jones.
Yes, Temple of Doom. You're right. Yep.
Yeah.
So Temple of Doom created the idea for this, and then that's what they did next.
Gotcha.
But yeah. So back to the college scene. They're watching the movie. They have like a little meet cute when they bang heads very violently into each other. And again, friends that they knew, one of their really close friends, in a way, they went through tragedy with him. He died. They're laughing, giggling, making out
up.
while they're supposed to be served.
I know.
They have the tape in. And then while they're making out, they go, Dewey, that's us. That's not my tape.
Like I 100%. Like the timing. Like they could. Like they've known each other now for a while. Randy just died. He died violently. Like how can you even think about doing anything else besides like, you know what? Let's solve this before anyone else dies. No, let's think about ourselves.
And then he's groping her boob when she Dewey, stop. Someone's here. That's not my tape. And then when you see Ghostface all the way up there, this is the second time I'm like, to Ghostface. It has to be. Because the fact that the one, if you really think about it, Gail stays down there. Dewey goes up and he runs around. He goes into the film room, everything. So no one could have gotten behind Gail. So there was somebody hiding under that desk the whole time.
Watching.
Whole time.
So they were peeping.
So somebody was under the desk where they were sort of like making out. And the other one was up top. That's the only way. There's no way somebody could have came behind her and then popped out. So that's wild.
Correct.
Like how long were they waiting? Like what if they didn't choose that room?
Of course. The same thing with the bathroom situation. They would have been waiting a while. Or it would be funny like if he was mad. Like he goes, you had to show yourself now. Like you're gonna wait a little longer. They were just getting good.
Yeah. I was almost there. But that whole like that's so crazy to think about. So that'd be funny, like in that Tucker and Dale version that we're kind of like drumming up during this. They'd be like, "Whoa, yeah! Wait, they're gonna do this for me?" Like a private show.
No,
but man, that just just that whole scene and the way it's done with no sound, like you can't hear Dewey, and you're just seeing it from Gail's perspective. And they see each other for like a split second, and then he's stabbed.
How did he survive that? How did he survive that? Because he got it was multiple stabs, right? There was
dude.
So somehow he survived that while everybody else is, because he got. I mean, this guy has 9 lives.
He does.
And
terrible.
If you're Dewey, why do you want? Like at this point, like he's in a third movie too, or no?
Yeah, he's up in the 5th one.
Okay, so why? You would think like, all right, listen, I just got stabbed. What in 2 movies? He's got stabbed at least 10 times. Like at a certain point, you're like, maybe you guys are just not good for me.
They're gonna get a major organ next time. Yeah, it's pretty rare to stab inside of the body.
I was gonna say,
and not hit
I survived twice. I can't imagine surviving too much longer. Does he get stabbed in a third one too?
No, he has a really fun. I don't think he does. I do remember they do a scene where the killer throws the knife at him, and it's like, and the butt of the knife hits him in the head, and he falls down the stairs, which is like a little comic relief from him. But the scene when Gail, when the killer can't get through and like is throwing the chair, and then she breaks it down, and then this is when she's leaving.
Yep.
And that's when we see Debbie Salt right on the phone, right outside that door. I'd be like, okay, this is a little weird. I know you're on campus covering this, but you're right where this thing just happened.
And it's nighttime, so why would you be on campus covering it?
Yeah.
So okay.
So that would be again the funniest thing to see the killer's perspective. Before that, like, and the door opens, and you're like, oh shit, and then phone.
But you know what though? See, that would be that would be a twist on a movie. Is like have the movie through the killer's eyes.
Yes, it would be great.
The whole movie. So you can see like the
or
plan.
Do something crazy, film 2 movies at the same time, and release them separate. It's almost like that one movie sort of did that. Gone Girl. I remember reading the book. Every other chapter was each person's perspective,
right,
and then it goes to the whole hook of the whole movie.
Or I was thinking more like, so I forget what movie it was. There was actually an action movie that it was seen through the guy's eyes. So like, all
I remember
you
that.
saw
Henry,
Hardcore Henry, right? So have this as a killer, so you see everything through the killer's eyes throughout the whole movie. Like you don't have to hear him speak. You don't have to know who the killer is, but you see everything through the killer's eyes.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
You know what's funny about that movie? It was such a insane thing, but it was so insane it did not work because no one ever did it again.
No one did it again. It definitely got you dizzy a little bit, but it was such a cool. I mean, it was definitely cool the way they did it because it felt like it was a video game you were watching. But yeah, I'm surprised that it didn't take.
Well, remember the thing that inspired that? I don't know if the person that did that one video. I remember when we were working together, and I remember watching it. It was like a guy filmed an action sequence. It was only like 12 minutes or 13 minutes, but it was one shot. Like it was he could have probably done a camera trick, but he said he never did. But it was like all continuous action POV, like he's fighting an office building but no, it was that would be interesting. I just think seeing it from that killer's thing would be so funny.
Something different. And again, not knowing who the killer is. And you could easily do something like that, and then the reveal at the end maybe, but okay.
No, that would be good. Because they've done that in movies. They do the POV sometimes. Remember in what I'm trying to think what movie it was.
They did it in student body. I think it was in an old 80s movie, they did student body. Well, even do they do it Michael Myers? You see him through the mask sometimes? Like you see the
you do see him. I'm talking about there's a movie that you don't know who the killer is. Oh, maybe like Club Dread or one of those movies. But just before the person gets killed, they're like, oh, I can't believe it's you. It's like, oh, okay. So now,
they've done it in Clue.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So perfect. That same thing.
Yeah.
It would just be great to hear the killers breaking everything down. But then even at the next scene, when Derek gets kidnapped, it's frightening. Like that whole thing when Sid says goodbye, why is there again goodbye? I get it.
And they're wearing masks. And they're wearing masks. Like there's something about this movie that everybody wears masks. Like it just and listen, I'm in a fraternity. Like things like that don't happen. Like
what's your fraternity? Maybe some of your brothers listen. What's the
Well, we were only local. So it was only one place. It wasn't a national fraternity.
So you invented your own?
No,
somebody invented one?
Probably, yeah, I guess so. It's a local fraternity, so it's considered local. So yeah, but no, we don't, we don't get carried over like that. I mean, it almost seemed like orgy sacrifices, like the way they were doing it. And it was on a cross. You had the girls there. You had it was just weird. It was very weird.
Yeah, and the fact that they're doing it on the stage, so that stage is gonna smell like beer. It's gonna get into the wood. And you're gonna ruin it. And they had the funnel in his pants, and they're pouring the beer in the funnel. But
there's a killer on campus, and you're leaving him there tied up.
Yes, that's insane. They should be charged with murder.
Wait! Not only that, he was all the way at the top because they lowered him, so they left him up there. So if no one saw him, they wouldn't know he was up there. How long is he gonna stay up there for?
I know.
Okay.
But this is where Porter de Rossi and Rebecca Gayher, where I could see people because they're so crazy, and they say they want it. The thing with them that not I thought that they were the killers, but when watching it back, they wanted her to be in the sorority so bad. That's all they cared about. They had no care for her roommate. But then at this point, they trash her in a way. They're like, oh, we'd be better for you. And they both like, don't they like kiss his chest or kiss his cheek? So it's almost at this point, I'm like, you know what? Maybe they're the.
Yeah, but why were they there in the first place? It was a fraternity.
I guess because they're like the.
But there was no I didn't see any female sororities outside of the one party. Like, you know, like so the fact that they were involved. Listen, then that's the other issue, right? So like if they did something wrong with the fraternity, there's no way they would allow 2 sorority girls to watch the punishment or anything like that. Like, so like why, unless it was a co-ed fraternity, you know, which, you know, they have them out there, which is kind of lame, but
they do,
you know,
what is that just called? Living? Like,
no,
real life. Are you wearing a fraternity? I was in a Ferrari.
There's literally no. There are co-ed fraternities, which I would never do that. But anyway, but
it's like bowling.
Yeah, but the fact that they're, and you know what, I didn't think of them as killers, but it would make sense also because they've been kind of quiet throughout the whole movie, right? So like no one's thinking of them. They're thinking of everybody else that could be the killer. So they would be the perfect people to be the killer because they're in the background of every scene, just not speaking enough until like, you know, near the end. So that would have been good. But yeah, I wasn't thinking them at all.
Yeah. They're like the camera loved them. Like Wes, they're just so stunning. Like Rebecca Gayheart's eyes and even Portia Rossi, like her eyes, but they just have this beauty. Because there's like, yeah, you're right. There's some shots when they show like a crowd shot and they're the only people in the crowd shot that we know. And even just the way they're always trailing Sid and following Sid, it like made you like sort of think about it for like, I don't know, kind of like a second. The fact that they were there.
That would, I bet you a lot of people might have thought they weren't even involved. Like I said, the fact that they're involved with the fraternity, they shouldn't have been there, but they were there. They're always there at the right time. You know, you would think, and again, it would fit. Like they were just jealous of Sydney, and that's why, you know, they wanted to kind of mimic her life or something. You know, that would have been a good little twist or something.
No, I know that's one looking back now. Okay, that's one I could see people getting like tripped up on. So now we get again, these detectives are horrible. They should be. I'm not even saying they're old. They just like have this really old school vibe because they even like Arquette's dad that we find out is the chief. He even says like a line, the best, 2 of my bests. And it's like, really? Well,
again,
this is your best. They don't even look to the left at a stop sign.
They were using Randy and Gale to solve it. So how could they be the best? I mean, if that's their best, you know. So and yeah, I mean, this whole scene in the car, like they did absolutely nothing. They did the protection was awful, and they got their ass kicked. Like literally, I mean, ridiculous. Like, and okay, there's a part in this where he easily could have killed the killer, and he says. Well, we're not even at the part. We're close to it.
Oh, but his line? What was his line? Something asshole?
He goes for stop or something like that. Like the killer just killed his partner. He just murdered his partner. He's the killer that's killing these kids. He's outside of the car and he's holding a gun to him and he goes, stop. Like, wouldn't you have shot him at this point? He's already committed murder in front of you. Like, no, let him run me over. That's I'm going to wait. So that just shows you how bad they are.
Yeah. But again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but seeing the killer approach the scene would be good. And then even like what goes on during it. But dude, when this is such a awesome scene because the cop's like sort of still alive, the one that gets slashed at the stop sign, which how do you not look left? When he's like, don't worry, we'll get you home on time or something like that. And then he says a dumb line, takes his eyes off the road when there's a killer on the loose, gets stabbed right in the neck. And when he's speeding away and Ghostface is on the front of the car, dude, that is the pipe going through him. Oh, and the opposite. I'm sorry. Ghostface was driving. What am I talking about? Ghostface got in the car and the other guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Right.
Is awake. Yeah.
But that's what he said. That's when the cop said, freeze. Yep. After he just slashed his partner. Like, why would you waste time? Shoot him. Like, shoot him. So, but this scene, like, of them, like creepily, like, trying to, you're waiting for Ghostface to grab them. Like, you're waiting for that. But, like, Sydney, like, she thought about it. Why didn't she take the mask off?
I know.
Like,
why not?
Yeah, like, I mean,
like,
listen,
a second. Oh, I know that person.
Yeah, yeah. Clearly, like, he's hurt. Like, even if like he wakes up, he's still going to be hurt, you know, like, you know, so like she had enough time, but like seeing them slowly crawl, like you're waiting in the audience for him to, and it doesn't happen. like, which I'm surprised. Like, I'm like, you always see that in the movies. But
I love that.
The fact that
I think that's why they did it. That's
of course, because you're waiting, and then a friend doing it, you're like, oh, she's definitely gonna get it. You know, like, you know. But the fact that the Ghostface was able to get out of the car pretty easily without them seeing it somehow.
Oh, I know that, and this is definitely two killers because there's no way that could have circled back.
But the other killers at the campus with Courtney Cox.
No, well, we saw Debbie Salt already gone, so I'm sure there was enough time to get over there. But just I'm just saying, just the injury.
No, I know.
That would be fun to see behind them.
Yeah, I say hearing them breathe, hearing them, like because they're literally moving around, like how far of a distance constantly, and they're fighting off people, right? They're killing people, so it's like there's no way they're gonna have this energy to keep going. Like it's just it's ridiculous. So yeah, and
even the friends.
If there is another
in the spot.
If there is another killer there, how do they know that's where the car crash is gonna be?
Oh, I know. No, I know. That's what I mean. Yeah, there's a lot of
like the killer, like that, like the second killer was hiding behind garbage cans, where right next to where the garbage can waiting in the alley. All right, we're gonna drive it through here. You have to wait. You know, like it's just ridiculous. Like there was way too
maybe because it was on the same street. Maybe they had the two killers posted up because what if the cop blew that stop sign? And maybe there was a red light at the next one or something like that.
Again, there's way too much planning for these two amateur killers. Like they got everything worked out perfectly, like throughout the whole movie. Perfectly. There's no way. It's just ridiculous. But yeah.
I see cops in my dopey town sometimes. The cops are great people. Just like there's nothing that goes on out here. There's like maybe like people that go like 27.
So how would they react if something happened like this? Like that's how you gotta look at it.
That's what I mean. But they use the siren so much around here. So I would think, wouldn't you have your siren on? You're cops. You're supposed to be protecting. You get out of Dodge as quick as possible. No, we're going to make sure we're going to hit every law, even though no one's on the road. Like there's no one around on this campus. Now they're on lockdown. Now they are.
Oh, okay. Now. Okay. Really? Because how long did it take? I mean, how many murders did it take for them to go on lockdown?
Oh, I know.
Ridiculous.
But what I'm saying is they're not really on lockdown because they were just partying the frat and the sorority. So there's still like people out, but no, right now there's no people out. Like Sid's running away at this point, running. The killer's chasing her.
What's considered lockdown? Because there's no security at all on that campus.
You're right.
There's not one security guard.
But now one person sees Sid running and sort of screaming, running away, or somebody chasing her. And the fact that she goes, I'm going to go to the theater.
Okay, wait. Why is she even going to campus? Like at this point, everybody around her is dead. So wouldn't she just maybe run to the nearest police station? Like she's already been to the police station. Why don't you run there? No, let's go back to the campus where they're probably waiting for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what? Now I have to look back. So I just now at this time is when the other scene ends. So Gail, so maybe that was whoever was driving, maybe Mickey, because Debbie Salt is outside because this is when Gail runs into Cotton. Cotton has blood on his hand and he gets taken away. And then Debbie Salt's outside on the phone. So I guess that must have been only one killer in the last scene. So I take all that back.
Ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Even crazier that they pulled a Scooby-Doo and somehow run behind everybody. And he murders his own girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wow, man, that's rough. I can understand being a murderer. I guess I really can't understand. I shouldn't say that out loud. But like, I don't know if I murdered my own girlfriend.
Yeah, but was it really his girlfriend or was it part of the setup? Like
maybe.
He, to get in the friend group.
Come on, Lifetime or Hallmark. That's the next movie. Like a serial killer. Like that's it. That exact. Like, yeah, sorry, I had to go to this thing. I wanted to kill all her friends, but I fell in love with them. I fell in love with one of her friends, so I can't do the whole plot. like that's like a new Hallmark movie.
Yeah. I'm sure there's one out there like that. So,
oh, dude. But just the fact that he's able to do that, she's running away from him. And I guess because he is the first one there. So I guess it makes sense because he's the first one that appears because Sid, how does it work out? She just runs in and finds Derek, right?
Correct.
Or does Timothy Oliphant reveal first?
He gets lowered. No, she finds Derek first and he gets lowered and then Timothy Oliphant comes out.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, and he's all marked. So was that spray paint or was that cuts on him?
No, I don't think
Like,
he
it
was
looked
kind of. Yeah, I think that was just spray paint.
Okay.
I don't think he was injured yet.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I mean, so are they waiting in, like, so they were both waiting in the back and waiting for like their big reveal. So like Timothy Olyphant, as he's coming down, Salt is waiting there, like waiting for her turn.
Or Debbie is still coming. Her and Gail. Oh no,
How
she
fast
brings
can
Gail
she
there.
move?
Oh,
Yeah.
so you know what? So then right at this point, she was like at the, even though there's police around, so these cops are that bad that Gail was right next to him and Debbie Salt was able to take her at gunpoint out of that
Ridiculous.
scene somehow.
Yeah, I know. It's
See,
so
I'd love to
ridiculous.
see that. Like,
I
I'd
know.
love to see that after the movie of like, oh, hey, Gail, I'm going to show you an article I have in my car. Pulls a gun on her or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Like something that's so silly. But yeah, dude, when he is going through his whole thing and I love how he's trying to you do like the movie defense to blame the movie. But I love when he's trying to rope Derek in. No, dude, he's such a liar.
and the fact that, again, as always, the killers have to explain everything. They take time to like give out the whole plan. And yeah. I mean, listen, this is where I feel like Timothy, like he was good the whole movie. I feel like he went so over the top, both of them.
Yeah.
At this scene,
Killer's always doing all these movies. Every scream. So maybe that's a thing that they go for because every reveal is something nuts. Like
they
everyone,
have to explain it.
They start.
Well, they
yelling
want credit for
and
it.
Screaming. Yeah, I guess so.
They want credit for it. But I want to know there. So obviously there's a couple of chases and fights in the air, and they hit some of the sound, the stage. Were they using real blocks?
No.
I mean, like you would think, like, because they acted like the real blocks, like real rocks came down and crushed them.
I know, because
Like,
we saw them earlier when she was doing her sequence, and they were like styrofoam. You saw that, but when
I know that,
maybe the killers swapped them out. They're like, you know what? Maybe this would be a fun kill, and then they forgot about it. They're like, oh shit!
Because when they were falling, like he was falling, like if they were styrofoam, you could stand there while a bunch of them fall down on you. You're not going to get knocked out. Like it literally looked like a wall crumbling on top of him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
it's so good. But God, the one. It's just his whole thing. I get where you see where it's over the top with him, but when Loomis comes out, the fact that, like you said, like to us, they're telling us, oh, they never really crossed paths because she was so good about not letting Sydney see her, that's fine. But when right away she's like, oh my God, you put on 100 pounds? Or no, she lost 100 pounds. I think that's what it was.
I don't remember.
And you dyed your hair.
You're right. Okay, you're right. Oh, so that's
what she
said.
said.
So that's why she couldn't recognize her.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. And I mean, like, so she was hanging out with the news group like the entire movie. That was her role. How'd she get involved with them? I mean, she's not a real
back
newscaster.
then. Honestly,
anyone with a microphone could just jump in there.
Yeah, and print something. I work for WN5. Oh, WN5. I never heard of that one. Oh yeah, we're new. People didn't care about that stuff. You can get away with so much forgery, I bet, back then. People are like, yeah, this looks real. But her thing is great. She goes on her rant like, my baby boy. And then does she kill Mickey? She kills him like right away. She goes to her rant, kills Mickey.
Well, because, right. Go ahead.
Because that's when she says the line. I was wondering when Sid said the line, but she goes, you're forgetting one thing about Billy Loomis. I fucking killed him. And then, she fights Mickey first. Because that's when she hits her.
Correct. Yeah. But she shoots him and then starts blaming everything on. She goes, I planned it, so everything is planted on him.
Dude, and you know what's funny now to think about that? So when they're both pointing a gun, because they both have guns pointed at Sid. So the whole movie, these killers use knives. But now they're like, strictly guns. So they switch up. When you do the big reveal as a villain, you get a gun in that point. But they both have guns pointed at Sydney, and she could have let him kill. It's not like they can tell by the minute when somebody died. Let him kill her right now, and then you shoot him.
She seems, again, she does a lot of like over the top killing. Like it's almost like she enjoys it. She's starting to enjoys it now. Like, so because again, the way she killed Randy, wasn't necessary, and so the fact that she shot Timothy Olyphant, why? Like what, like again, what's her goal? Like what was her goal from the whole movie? Because the end goal is she's trying to kill Sydney at the end. I don't understand like the whole plot of what she wanted.
No, I know. And I totally skipped it because I know our buddy Egan is going to listen to that one. The order of operations there was she said one, because he mentioned like Billy Loomis. I followed everything he did. And that's when she said the line, like, you forgot about them. And then they have like a one-on-one for a second. She hits him with the necklace from the fraternity.
Yep.
That's what stuns Mickey. And then that's when, because his line, he goes, Billy's mom, nice twist. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Like, that was pretty funny the way, it was so over the top the way he did it. But it was great. And then that's when she goes into her whole, we met on a serial killer website online.
Like, is that important? Like why are those details important to what's going on right now? Like, it really,
You know what I wrote? I wrote, wouldn't it be really hard to trust somebody from like a murder, like a serial killer
murder
thing?
club? Yeah.
How do you know that their serial killer thing is
looking for people?
Like, yes.
No, they're looking for people in chat rooms. 100%. And it makes it easier because you're going to I mean, but clearly, if you're going to be hanging out in a chat room about serial killers, and you're going to be pretty crazy yourself. So I don't think
somebody. But some serial killers they kill only blondes, or they only kill people that drive a Ford. This one, I'm a serial killer that kills serial killers. Like, that is their niche, and the fact that in seconds she kills him, like you said.
Yeah.
Then she's talking about how I'm going to blame it on him, and the line that she falls for. I love that. This is why bad guys they never finish the job, because Neve does the old, isn't Mickey supposed to be dead?
Yeah. She gave her the old switcheroo. Yeah. But see, again, like, so her goal is because she's looking for revenge for Billy, yet she's setting up Mickey.
Yeah.
Like, why? What does Mickey have to do with any of this? And so it almost feels like, if anything, she would want to tarnish Sydney's name and set Sydney up as she was the killer or something. Yep. Like, the fact that, like, she's setting up Mickey, like, so that makes absolutely no sense at all. Like, so yeah, that's weird. And then Sydney shoots her, right? I think shoots her with the gun.
She eventually does. Yeah. Before she uses, we mentioned it earlier, but the stage controls when she's doing everything, the lighting, and everything's disorienting her.
Oh my gosh. Which, is it that easy to use all those controls like that? And for timing?
Yeah.
Like, but yeah.
Oh
so
my
silly.
God, man.
And
then Cotton comes in.
That stage seemed very high tech.
Oh, I know. For a college. Like, yeah.
For a college. But Cotton,
that was like Broadway stuff. But when Cotton shows up, so like, why he show up?
How did he know they were there? Why is he wait? Not only that, why is he still lingering around the campus? He's a grown man. He's like,
he was sort of arrested because when they found him with the blood in his hands, and then I guess he had an alibi that quick that they released him, and he thought, oh, let me run to the theater at 2 a.m.
Well, my guess is the cops are walking on eggshells around him because they've already imprisoned him for being while he was innocent. So, he probably imagine they throw him in jail again and he's innocent a second time. Like, that's a problem.
Yeah.
First of all, why is he not even suing them? Like, throwing him in jail, but yeah. So, like, why is he hanging around? How does he know they're there? Why is there no security? Why is there security? Why is security allowing a grown man to be just walking around, a campus when it's supposed to be shut down anyway? So yeah. And the fact that he knew they were there.
Yeah. And even if he knew, why would he go there? Like, he's put in this wild position because that's where Debbie wants Cotton to murder him. Like, he wants Cotton to murder Neve. And he's sort of falling for it. Which is kind of weird. He's like pointing the gun at her for a second.
Well, I think he's playing her. But I mean, you make a point though. Like, so Cotton obviously we went to jail. Then he's been accused again. All this trouble being around Sydney, everything else. Wouldn't you be like, you know what? I got a jail free card, literally. let me move as far away from this area as possible. Because clearly, so let me go where there's gonna be more murder. My name's gonna be dragged in the mud even more. Like, people do not think in this movie at all. Like, it's almost like everybody seems to think, like, want to go closer to where whatever's going on. Whether it's murder or not, they want to get as close as possible.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes no
sense. They love it. He gravitates towards it. People. Some people
again. How many people get out of prison because they were incarcerated by accident? Like for the wrong person.
Yeah.
Not too many people get out. You are lucky. You're one of the lucky ones. Get out. Just go.
Just go. Hang around. It's not like he has a bad background. I don't think he was just one of those things. Like he was somehow had things that crossed with the murder. But yeah, why would you even go around it? And then I wrote, he really wanted that Diane Sawyer interview because then that's when he shot Debbie Salt. Well, Mrs. Loomis.
That's what did it. That's what did it. Because she said, I'll give you that interview, right? Is that?
Yeah, that's the line. Yeah, you'll get your fucking interview. And it's like, okay. And I would love an after conversation with them too. It's like, now, what if I didn't do the interview? Would you have shot me? No, I definitely wouldn't.
Well, okay. And you know what? How about the fact that he just murdered someone? So he just got out of jail. Okay, so he just got out of jail being accused of murder, and he didn't do it. Again, got out of jail, out of a free card, and now he just murdered someone that he wasn't even involved with at all. Like he easily could have walked away, but no, he kills her anyway. Because how do you?
Yeah.
So how do you? Did they blame it on Mickey? Like, how did they get away with that?
Oh no, probably self-defense. Maybe they say self-defense.
That's a coincidence. I mean, like, there's a guy that's accused the whole movie, and that's what you're gonna bank on? Crazy.
But the fact that he murdered someone to save the girl that accused him for murder that had him in prison for like 7 years, and you're gonna trust her that she's gonna stand by. She didn't want to do this. She didn't want to do the interview this whole time, and now you're gonna trust after you just murdered this person that she's still gonna stand by her word. Yeah, talking about trust. I know. No way. No way. But I do love the end scene because right after that, she dead. Mickey pops up. They kill Mickey, and I love what Sid does. And she goes, just in case, and fires shots. That looked great. You know what? We say this in every movie. How come they don't finish the job? And so, like, that's literally, honestly, I don't think I ever see that in any movie. Like, no. they when they think someone's dead, they walk away, and that person ends up getting up. Like, the fact that she did that, that more people should be doing that. Yeah. In movies. And I do love that the cameraman comes back in the next scene. He goes, I'm back because it's over. He's like, he's the smartest one in the whole movie. He knows there's murder. He goes away from murder gone, murder dead. He comes back. You come back, right? That's the way to survive in life. Avoid those situations. I mean, wasn't Gail shot? Wasn't Gail shot also? Yeah. She fell into the pit. I thought she got shot also because she was walking around like nothing. Yeah. Dewey's still alive, like ridiculous. Boom, 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 boom. And I was saying his music is playing. He's the only one that has his own theme music. Yeah, him and Debo are the only two people that aren't like superheroes that have theme music. Well, I can see Debo. I mean, but Dewey has his own, a little different. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. But yeah, so that's it. And then at the very end, she gives she does what Cotton wanted. But he is the man, he is the hero. And then everybody turned to him, and then it's funny that he's in the next one. He's like this big political talk show personality. So it like bleeds in from that moment. She like helped him out. Well, you know what this movie does well, I guess, is that like most horror movies, I'd say like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th. I don't know if Halloween does it as well. The last scene is always what's going on. Jason opens his eyes. Freddy, you hear Freddy laugh or whatever. Like this movie, the movie's just end. Like there's no like something, but there's something else that comes along down the road. So it's like you're anticipating like this could be the last one until they make another one. Like they don't leave you hanging. So I like that. Is what's what? That's great. That is because you can really always end it. Like, it's easy to end.
Correct.
There's no like,
Correct.
oh, remember when he moved his finger at the end? It's like, yeah, but he died 5 seconds later. Like, we just didn't put that on camera, like in the canon of the story. But yeah, we get a nice helicopter fade out and the movie ends. So, wow. That's such a great one to kick off 2024. Jamie, would you recommend somebody to check that one out?
Absolutely. Again, like I said, it was very entertaining. It's a good movie. I mean, because of a lot of the faults that are in there, I mean, like you could, I feel like you could definitely see they did throw this together. Because you said it was a year later and they already threw the movie together. So I think there's some parts of it are just like a little too silly. But you know, it's the franchise is still good. Honestly, I like up until the new ones. I mean, the new ones because I like the characters of the old ones.
Yeah,
you know, I don't know.
No, I agree.
I'm not
the idea of
the
those
new ones.
movies.
No, I get it, and I still watch them. They're still entertaining, but it's just like these characters made the movie, you know, and without their full, you know. So, but yes, to answer your question, absolutely, it's probably, you know, if not as I don't think it's as good as the first one because you know the first one was so original. It's definitely a good sequel to follow up with.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I love this one. I love the setting, being on the campus. The kills are great. It's a great soundtrack. But like, yeah, this one you got to make sure you check out if you haven't seen it.
They mentioned The Godfather.
Now you've known the whole movie.
Well, they mentioned The Godfather, a top sequel, right? They mentioned they mentioned 3 besides House 2. It was The Godfather, Aliens, and it was one more. I can't remember, but
yeah, I forget what the other one was. But I love when he sees them later. Mickey says, "Empire Strikes
and he
Back."
says,
No, not a sequel, part of a planned trilogy.
Yeah. But they hit them all. They hit all. Everybody knows those are the top ones, top dogs.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that was great. Great way to kick off the year. Next up is going to be a sequel that's perfectly timed because Royal Rumble coming up next week, or I think when this comes out, it might even be on that Saturday. So we're going to cover when WWE films were pumping them out. This is the second installment of 12 Rounds, 12 Rounds 2, starring Randy Orton. So, and he's in the main event at Royal Rumble, which is pretty wild. And so that'll be a lot of fun. And for it, I talked with, I think the first time siblings people were related, even, I think, were guests on the podcast. Last year, we talked to Griff Furst, the son of legendary comedic actor Stephen Furst. And next up, now we got his brother Nathan, who didn't get in front of the camera in the beginning growing up, going on set with dad. He has some great stories being on set. One with Howie Mandel that made me like piss my pants almost, how funny it was.
Good story.
He went from wanting to be an actor, and then he fell in love with the music. I think he said Back to the Future was the one that really changed it for him. So he's worked on big movies that he's worked on. He did the Need for Speed movie. So it was a big deal working with DreamWorks. And that was one of his bigger projects. Then he worked with his brother on a few of like those Sci-Fi Channel horror movies. But yeah, we talk about like his introduction, doing this. His dad connected him with someone to do his first score. I think it was for like Baby Huey was one of the first, like a Baby Huey cartoon. He did the music for it. But super cool guy. We talked about many aspects of the business. And one thing I never knew, just like I didn't know about directors auditioning to do movies, composers auditions were even crazier. So that'll be a lot of fun. So don't forget to review, rate, share our podcast. Follow us on all social media at Sequels Only. And don't forget to check our website, sequelsonly.com. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, guys.